It's not every woman's dream, but many around the Western world still long to wear a white wedding dress down the aisle. In Bendigo, a precious collection of dresses is being carefully unpacked, dating from the 1800s to modern-day celebrity weddings. Along with mountains of material, the exhibition is rich with stories of the women behind the dresses. As the dress of London's socialite Margaret Wigham was unpacked, it once again set light bulbs flashing. When the bride wore this dress for her wedding in 1933, traffic was blocked for hours.
She got out of the car and she was just overwhelmed by this huge sea of people and the police holding them back, and all she could hear was the click and whir of the cameras, and all she could see were the flashes of the flashbulbs.
The dress took 30 women 6 weeks to make.
It cost £52, and the bride said she was horrified by the amount of money it cost.
The bride herself went on to horrify London society as a married woman. She featured in numerous scandals, including an alleged affair with a movie star and a cabinet minister. Her dress now shares a cabinet with the wedding dress of one of her 9 bridesmaids, socialite Barbara Beaton.
He's extended the flounce at the front and taken it back, but he's added a really original touch by splitting the train, so it's like the two tails of a bow. So very special, very interesting. And she had 2 little page boys who were dressed in red velvet, and they carried each one had a corner to carry.
Unusually, there's no buttons, hooks or fastenings of any kind.
She just pulled it on over her head. Actually putting it on a mannequin is rather scary because you want to protect the dress as well as you can, but don't want to stretch it too much. You don't know how much give there is in the seam still.
Curator Edwina Ehrman carefully selected these dresses from the Victoria and Albert Museum in London. What mattered most, apart from quality, was the stories of the women who wore them.
I like trying to get a grip on these women. And these dresses represent a particular point in their lives, but they also tell us so much about not just the societies that made them and wore them, but about ours. You know, because so many of these dresses were given to us in the last 50 years, and they have really been treasured by their people's families.
The exhibition spans hundreds of years, from the birth of the white wedding dress in the Victorian era.
She increased the bust size by about 4 inches, so maybe she wore it during pregnancy, but that's so nice because it's a really special dress to her.
And then there were those who bucked the trend.
She was incredibly independent. Red was her favourite colour.
Gowns worn by burlesque star Dita Von Teese and singer Gwen Stefani will be on display, but they were still in crates when we visited.
They're both incredibly slender, so they both had to have special mannequins made for them. There was nothing off the peg available.
From so many gowns and stories, the curator's pick is this creation from 1880.
What is so gorgeous about it is that if you imagine this person walking down, Clara, she was called, walking down the aisle, and they had gas lighting in churches, but it was flickering, and so it's quite dark in the afternoon, and she's walking down the aisle, and you can imagine those pearls shimmering and swaying.
That was a pretty hot day, remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Beverly and Gil Sibley walked down the aisle at Frankston in 1964.
Well, can you believe I fitted in that?
No. Actually, I can. I remember it.
The bride's dress was designed and handmade by her mother, who also made outfits for just about the whole bridal party.
She strove for perfection, and she did an incredible job. You don't want to ever try and unpick anything she made, because it was made to last.
Unlike many gowns on display, Beverly Sibley's was made on a strict budget and designed so the overskirt could be worn later as a cape.
We were far from wealthy. We weren't poor, but we weren't wealthy either. Mum bought very few beads. They were mainly from my great-grandmother, my grandmother, herself, and anything that was around.
The bride from Frankston's gown now sits in the Australian section of the exhibition, near a dress worn by footballer's wife Rebecca Judd and this 1920s creation worn by Melbourne's socialite Margaret Winter Irving. Beverly Sibley says her mother would be amazed and thrilled.
I know Mum loved being the centre of attention. She would deny that, but she did love being the centre of attention, and she loved the taste of success.
And the exhibition opens to the public on Monday at the Bendigo Art Gallery.